Hello everybody, how are you doing? Happy New Year. A quick fire prediction here. This is for Boris Johnson in 2022. I'm making this prediction, Jan 2nd, 2022. I don't think Boris Johnson will survive after the May local elections. Here's why. We see his chart over here. He's born 19th of June, 1964, New York. You can see Libra ascendant. I'm interested in this Jupiter opposite Neptune, which is being triggered first by Saturn in the early months of 2022. But at the time of the May elections, early May, Uranus will be conjunct Jupiter opposing Neptune. Neptune, you can see, rules his sixth house of work, the job. Jupiter rules his third house, day-to-day activities, routines, colleagues. So we see a dramatic change in his whole day-to-day structure, new routines, different sorts of work, different sorts of communication. In other words, he's moving to some different sort of job. We see, obviously, Uranus is opposite Neptune, which rules his house of work. So definitely impacting. Now, what's also interesting here, you see these are the solar arc directions on the outside, and this Jupiter opposite Neptune that's present natally has moved by solar arc to be exactly on the midheaven. With Jupiter, it's the picture of it's over there, but it's actually on the midheaven, and Neptune is on the IC. Right? So this particular opposition is very important. It's emphasized, and it's also emphasized because here Mercury is squaring up to it. That's solar arc Mercury. Also important is Saturn is opposite his moon, which rules his career, his 10th house, his MC. So Saturn by solar arc, obviously in opposition. Saturn natally here in Pisces, again the Neptune theme is bringing disillusionment, disgrace, disappointment, a big career hiccup, and a kind of anticlimax to what promised so much. Now, I will be pleased to see him go, although I have no faith in anyone else from the Tory party arising that'll impress me. I think we'll have Michael Gove probably as a caretaker until we elect someone else. Rishi Sunak certainly in the running. I'll give you an update on who I think could take over. He's been doing really badly in the polls. The press say it's due to sleaze, but it's really due to the fact that people voted for Brexit, for the country to be sovereign and independent, and it's clear with his reciting of the mantra Build Back Better that we are not independent. We have just moved to control by the UN, by Bill Gates, where he takes his orders. And so people have lost confidence. They're not excited about Brexit anymore. They're not excited about the direction of the country. It's not about sleaze. It's about hypocrisy, because a lot of people can see now that there's one rule for them when it comes to COVID, one rule for the rest of the country. They're not happy with how the finances are being managed of this country. Good money thrown out after bad. $500 million spent on the Nightingale hospitals when they only served, I think, between 37 and 47 people. Then they had to be closed. All the equipment was sold off to Eastern Europe, probably at pennies for the dollar or pennies to the pound. They weren't even used because they couldn't staff them. So total incompetence. Again, incompetence in the management of the economy. Like I say, they just magic money tree, throwing good money after bad. None of the promises of Brexit in terms of enterprise zones or anything like that. The ridiculous green agenda that he's totally signed up to. It wasn't in their manifesto. No one from the Conservative who voted Conservative voted for that. It was something Labour were promising. The fact that he's put us, the UK, on the schedule racing towards net zero, certain, by 2028, they want everyone to have gotten rid of gas in their homes. They want people to have these inefficient heat pipes. It's going to lead to fuel poverty. It's going to lead to immensely expensive electricity prices, because this green energy is not at a state to cater for such a growing population, with everyone moving off gas, with electric cars being forced in, because by 2030 he wants people to be moving to electric cars, because after that they're going to get rid of the diesel and the petrol. There's just so much I can say. First of all, a lot of people say to me on my thing, well, to be energy efficient, maybe it's better to move green. Maybe it is, along with nuclear, along with other things, but heat pumps is a ridiculous non-starter. They are costly, they are inefficient. There's no way that there'll even be enough produced to cater for the demand. If people can't afford to make the changes to their home, which can cost as much as £18,000, what are they going to do? If they say you can't sell or let your home, if it's not with a heat pump adapted, got rid of gas and have all the installation, it's just not feasible. We live in England, a country, the UK, so many old houses where this is not even practicable. Most people live in tiny terrace places where you wouldn't even be able to put these heat pumps. It's not thought through. Nothing is costed. Nothing is properly thought through. The nuclear is a mess. They've got to get China or France to build the nuclear. The other nuclear power stations are aging. I'm sorry, I have no faith in wind farms. I have no faith in this. The solar is not even a starter in this country because not enough people have it. So it's going to wipe out the middle class. It's going to do terrible damage to the property market, and all these green all this green stuff is going to make this country uncompetitive because there will be no consistency or reliability in terms of energy. It'll totally wipe out any manufacturing. It's just not thought through. If it was done a lot slower and there were a chance for better technologies and bloody wind farms to develop, maybe if it was done slower so they can build more nuclear, which by the way I'm not a fan of nuclear, but for people who are, and they can develop better strategies. But this is it's so rushed, it's so ill thought through. It's a vanity project. It's almost like he's doing it to just ingratiate himself to, I don't know, throwing this big COP26 thing. No one's interested. People are interested in the cost of living crisis, massive inflation coming our way. The economy, I don't care what they say about GDP. That's just being massively inflated because of all the government spending, and because a lot of money, a lot of people on a gravy train with all these COVID tests that they're making a fortune on, and all the PPE and all the whole COVID industry that's grown up, they're making a fortune out of. So I don't think Boris's dreams are ridiculous. His green initiatives are not costed. They will destroy the middle class. They will destroy prosperity. They will destroy productivity. People just do not want it. Even the least people who are not really au fait or wised up on this whole thing realize it's bad, and they're really feeling the pinch in their pocket. And they can see that it's only going to affect people. It's even going to affect millionaires, right? But if you're a millionaire and below, it's really going to have a dramatic effect on your life. Plus all the they're kind of wanting to reduce people's ability to travel. I'm sorry, electric cars, not a good idea. You've got petrol, you've got freedom. You've got an electric car, it's controlled. It can be switched off from elsewhere. It's highly trackable. It's all part of the social credit score kind of way of thinking. They don't run and run and run like normal cars. Every 3 years the battery has to be replaced, making it very expensive, having a motor car out of reach of a lot of people. We even had some ridiculous woman from the Tory party saying, there must be more car sharing and everyone having a car must be a thing of the past. No. People don't want any of this, and people really can't stand the Boris Johnson government. He's a globalist. He's into all these globalist pipe dream projects. People can see the hypocrisy with the whole COVID lark, and they hate it. And obviously a lot of people who don't agree with the COVID measures find his comments about people exercising my body, my choice absolutely disgusting. I don't know if he's inebriated or what his problem was, but he made a fool of himself giving a ridiculous speech to the CBI, quoting communists, quoting Marx to the CBI, talking about Peppa Pig. He's not credible. He's disheveled. He's behaving in a ridiculous fashion. He doesn't look like he's in control of anything, and he has to go. And as I say, it's not just about sleaze. I don't think it's about sleaze at all. People can see through this facade. They can see it's globalist nonsense, globalist, communist, totalitarian nonsense being forced under the guise of a so-called conservative government, which has thrown all their conservative principles in the damn bin. I'd say from this chart as well, the activation of Jupiter opposite Neptune, that there could well be a problem with him having a lack of control in his own life, a lack of control of his health, possibly a lack of control in terms of overconsumption in some way. Similar to Churchill, I'd say he's got financial difficulties, and he's probably borrowed money from the wrong people, like Winston Churchill did, and they may have leverage over him. So I see a lot of financial problems as well due to excess spending. I think he's gone crazy. I mean, we heard about the gold wallpaper and all that. I think he's absolutely immersed in excess in every way, in extravagance. I think this whole thing of being prime minister's gone to his head, and he's just become a bit of a King Canute. He thinks he can tell the ocean to recede if he wants to. I think it's all gone to his head, and that's why it's going to crash down in a massive disappointment. He's, I think, betrayed the public, and he's betrayed all the potential of Brexit. And I certainly don't believe in him. I don't believe he's in control at all. And I think he's been, what would you say? He's delusional at the moment. This to me shows a lot of delusional, scattered thinking. And he's almost like gone off the deep end. I don't know who he's trying to impress, but it's not the people who voted for him. His whole motivations are very questionable to me at the moment. As I say, he's abandoned traditional conservative policies. He's abandoned the dream of Brexit and sovereignty. He certainly shows his cabinet shows absolutely no desire or ability to deliver secure borders, which was something that a lot of people wanted and voted for. So I think he'll be gone after the May elections, when he'll get a drubbing, and deservedly so. But really, I don't think it's a positive thing if people are just putting their vote towards Labour or the Lib Dems, because they're all one and the same. So unless they're voting for smaller parties, it's absolutely useless, and we won't particularly get anyone better. But as I say, this chart shows to me that Boris is in free fall. He is literally a flat wheel. He is out of control in many aspects. His motivations definitely questionable. His management of his own finances is probably an abortion. And all this is feeding into him being a lame duck, someone who has to do the bidding of forces or people, but certainly not the voter. So that's what I have to say, and I think that was a kind of strongly worded start to the new year. My first prediction, Boris Johnson gone around early May.